Hey everyone, and welcome back to the shop. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just making a bowl. We're going to turn this beautiful piece of ash into a vessel for a story, a truly wild narrative that has captivated and confused millions for decades. As I shape this wood, we're going to delve into the life and claims of Milton William Cooper, a man who, depending on who you ask, was either a prophetic genius or a master conspirator himself. His tales involve aliens, government cover-ups, and even a chilling premonition of 9/11. Now, you might be thinking, what does wood turning have to do with conspiracy theories? Well, just as we peel away the layers of this wood to reveal its hidden beauty, we're going to peel back the layers of Cooper's story, examining the grain of truth, the knots of speculation, and the sometimes charred edges of his legacy. So, get settled in, and let's get turning and talking. First things first, let's get this blank spinning and start establishing our rough shape. This beautiful piece of ash has a lovely grain, and I'm planning something a bit unique. A bowl or tray with a natural exterior and a charred interior. It's going to be a striking contrast, much like the contrasting opinions on our subject today. So, who was Milton William Cooper? Born in 1943, Cooper's life was anything but ordinary. He served in the United States Air Force and then the Navy, including a tour in Vietnam. This military background is crucial, as it's where he claimed to gain access to highly classified documents. He often spoke of being a Naval Intelligence briefer, though official records don't fully corroborate the exact nature or extent of his claimed access. It was in the late 1980s and early 1990s that Cooper really burst onto the conspiracy scene. He wasn't just dabbling, he was going all in. His magnum opus, released in 1991, was a book titled Behold a Pale Horse. If you've ever heard of him, it's likely because of this book. It quickly became a cornerstone of the burgeoning New World Order movement and a Bible for many conspiracy theorists. In his book and on his incredibly popular shortwave radio show, The Hour of a Time, Cooper laid out a vast, interconnected web of conspiracies. He was articulate, charismatic, and incredibly persuasive. He had a way of weaving together disparate elements, historical events, alleged secret documents, and current events into a compelling, if deeply unsettling, narrative. This ash is really starting to take shape now, feeling the rhythm of the lathe. It's amazing how quickly a rough block can transform. Now let's talk about the claims that first brought Cooper significant notoriety. His assertions about extraterrestrial life and government cover-ups. This is where things get truly out there, pun intended. Cooper claimed that while in the Navy, he saw top-secret documents, sometimes referred to as Magic 12 or Majestic 12 documents, though the authenticity of these is highly disputed, that detailed a secret treaty between the U.S. government and an alien race, specifically the Greys. The Majestic 12 documents themselves are widely considered a hoax by historians and most ufologists. They first surfaced in the 1980s, and evidence points to them being fabricated. However, their existence fueled many conspiracy theories, and Cooper used them as a foundation for his claims. According to Cooper, this treaty, allegedly signed by President Eisenhower, allowed these aliens to abduct humans in exchange for advanced technology. He painted a picture of a sinister agreement where the government sacrificed its citizens for technological gain. He even claimed that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated because he was about to reveal the truth about these aliens to the public, and that the fatal shot was fired by the limousine driver using an alien-developed gas pressure device. This theory is wild, I know, but consider the cultural context of the late 20th century. The Cold War, the space race, movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and The X-Files. The idea of government secrets and alien contact was very much in the public consciousness. Cooper tapped into that pervasive sense of mistrust and wonder. He wasn't just presenting theories. He was building a comprehensive worldview. The appeal of hidden knowledge. the human desire to understand the inexplicable, and the distrust of authority. You can tie this back to the feeling of uncertainty in the world today. As we start to shape out the exterior of this bowl, revealing its unique character, we come to the part of Cooper's story that truly cemented his legend for many. His alleged prediction of 9/11. On June 28, 2001, just a couple of months before the attacks, Cooper made a chilling statement on his radio show. He warned his listeners to prepare for a major attack on a large American city. What's even more striking is that he specifically named Osama bin Laden as the person who would be blamed. Fact check moment. Cooper did indeed make this prediction. Transcripts and recordings of his show confirm this. This is arguably the most verifiable aspect of his prophetic claims. However, his interpretation of why it would happen is where the conspiracy theory kicks in. Cooper argued that bin Laden was an asset of the secret government, and that any attack attributed to him would be a false flag operation. For those unfamiliar, a false flag is a covert operation designed to deceive, making it appear as though a group or country other than the actual perpetrator is responsible. Cooper believed the goal was to create public fear, justify wars, and ultimately strip away American civil liberties to usher in his feared New World Order. When the towers fell on September 11, 2001, many of Cooper's followers saw it as undeniable proof of his prophetic insight and the truth of his deep state theories. He was one of the first voices to broadcast the idea that the World Trade Center towers and Building 7 underwent controlled demolitions, a theory that persists in some circles to this day. The interior of this bowl is really opening up now, creating a deep space. It's a good metaphor for how deep some of these rabbit holes can go. The story of Bill Cooper doesn't have a quiet retirement. It ends tragically, reflecting the increasingly paranoid tone of his later years. In the months following 9/11, Cooper became more convinced that the government was actively targeting him. He had relocated to Eagar, Arizona, living an isolated life. In November 2001, less than 2 months after September 11th, sheriff's deputies attempted to arrest him on a warrant for aggravated assault and tax evasion. What followed was a fatal shootout. Cooper shot a deputy in the head. Thankfully, the deputy survived, and Cooper himself was shot and killed by police. For his followers, his death was seen as further proof that the secret government silenced him because he knew too much. For critics, it was the tragic end of an increasingly unhinged individual who had cultivated a dangerous anti-government ideology. His legacy is immense. Cooper is often referred to as the father of modern conspiracy theories. His blend of anti-government sentiment, fear of secret societies like the Illuminati, and deep skepticism of official narratives laid much of the groundwork for the conspiracy theories that thrive on the internet today. From QAnon to various deep state narratives, you can often trace an ideological lineage back to figures like Cooper. This bowl is almost ready for the next step, the final finishing, a transformation, just like Cooper's impact on a generation. Now that we've explored the complex, often unsettling world of Bill Cooper, we have to make a biased opinion on what to believe. It's healthy to be skeptical and ask questions, but try not to be so cynical that you dismiss all information out of hand or believe every outrageous claim. It's fair to suggest that everyone is biased in some way, shape, or form. You can usually tell how people voted based on what news they choose to speak on. Everyone has different motives that are important to them. We live in some pretty cool times, I will say. Luckily for us, we can actually go back and watch videos and read books on what Bill actually said and done. I wish we could have more evidence on the conspiracy theories on the Great Pyramids. The natural, untouched exterior represents the raw, unfiltered information, the world as it appears to be, but the charred, transformed interior. That's where the story lies, where questions are raised, where narratives are burned in. It's a physical representation of how we process and internalize information, sometimes leaving a lasting mark. Whether you see Bill Cooper as a visionary or a purveyor of dangerous ideas, his story is a powerful reminder of the human desire to understand the hidden forces at play in the world and the profound impact that narratives, true or not, can have on our perception of reality. I hope you enjoyed this unique journey, both in woodturning and in exploring this fascinating, if controversial, figure. If you found this thought-provoking, please hit that like button, subscribe for more woodworking content, and let me know in the comments what you think about Bill Cooper's story or any other historical mysteries you'd like me to discuss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.